Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to those Collinsport boys. I'm your host tonight, or actually, I'm one of three hosts tonight. My name is Alan Gallant. The man with the finger down there is Patrick McCrae. And over here is Mr. Domowski. Over here, actually. Um, and
You people figure it out.
yeah,
He's in the center for me, so
yeah.
all over.
What do we want to talk about tonight, gentlemen?
Ann B. Davis.
Andy
Yeah,
Davis
she
as
is a total smoke show. She
She
made the Brady
was.
Bunch.
She was. I was censured by my best friend when I went to see her in Crazy. It was Crazy for You, the Gershwin semi musical, because she was in it. And during curtain call, I just yelled Annie, Annie, and I was clapping my hands off, which is normal. In curtain call, you can do that.
yes, you can.
And he was like, "Shh, you're embarrassing me." It's like, Carl, there are like 1,000 other people in here. I don't think anyone noticed, except Ann B. Davis, who seems to be smiling.
And she deserved to be smiling because
She deserves to be smiling. What a
nobody,
great lady.
she never gets the credit she deserves. Never.
She doesn't. She doesn't because that's a thankless part. And like so much in the Brady Bunch, but especially Ann B. Davis, she basically was playing the same beat over and over and over and over and over again. But I never got tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Brady Bunch fan, but the only reason I would watch the Brady Bunch was for her.
Right.
That's
Her
a perfectly good reason.
her mid shots when she turned and reacted to something that the foolish people were doing were always good. Even if they were relatively alike, she enlivened them. She had the energy to act past the astroturf.
Right.
So yeah, the term I use is playing the top of the scene, which for me is when you're playing any moment as if you can achieve whatever it is you're going after. And
Right.
not all actors do that. If you ever see a play that's kind of sort of scene that's just lugubrious and kind of slow and everyone seems depressed, is because neither performer is doing that. But Ann B. Davis,
Yeah.
she always had that little, even in a really destructive play where the characters are going at it, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Hmm.
Right.
They have to believe they can destroy this person and come out on top.
That's
Yeah,
right. And they also can't play the end of the scene.
yeah,
You
That's
have
right.
yeah.
to play that top of the moment you were
I've
talking
seen her in that, and whatever you say, you are dead on, Patrick. You are dead right.
The funny thing is, I'm seeing her as Nick, and it's magnificent.
about. Especially when
Um,
she like tears open her.
but this is a thought I have often when we have actors. I don't want to call them mid-range actors, but I want to say actors who've been the recipients of mid-range casting. And it's just what they get cast
Well,
in.
she back, somebody like Andy Davis, middle age casting, too,
Yes,
back in the day.
back in the day when middle age existed. Now it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just people just keep staying Botoxed.
Yes.
But I kind of wonder, well, what would Ann B. Davis have been like in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? What would that? It would have been unusual because she prized herself so much on cogency, on
Yes.
crisp, alert cogency
And sobriety.
and sobriety. So what would that have looked like?
Yeah.
I think about that when I hear of like an adult actor who actually has a theater degree or something like that,
Yes.
and like they're never going to get cast, and sometimes that's a shame because they're a perfectly good actor. I
It's
used to
true.
imagine a summer stock that would only be porn actors, but they would be playing it.
I
Like you'd
think
get Harry Reams as James
I think in
Tyrone.
the 70s and 80s it came pretty close to that in a couple of occasions.
Really?
Harry Reams was in The Office Murders, which
Okay.
was on Broadway.
Well,
And
of
so
course, Marilyn Chambers was in. Was it Shivers?
Hmm.
Was
she
that
was
it? Or
in
Rabid? She was in
Rabid.
Rabid.
Yeah, Rabid.
Yeah, David
She was in
Cronenberg.
several sort of semi-legitimate movies, but that was the big one. Yeah, Rabid. Um,
And
yeah.
Hartley's very funny as Bill Macy's
Oh my
philandering
God.
wife in Boogie Nights.
Yes, and it's like it's no surprise what he does to her at the end either. I
No,
mean,
it's not.
it's
No, it's not.
it's
Little Bill.
little Bill.
That's a good movie.
It
What
is a great.
you get like Paul Thomas Anderson. Gordon, you see many Paul Thomas Anderson movies?
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Okay, yeah, this is a guy who it's a shame when you start out at the top of your game and kind of like Orson Welles, you never quite get there again.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't help that he PO'd Burt Reynolds right off the bat. I mean, I mean that movie was huge, but he
It
did
was.
he did piss off Burt Reynolds,
What'd
which
he
I
do
think
to make
probably
Burt mad?
Burt he didn't he got into it. He was reassured this is going to be a great performance. It's going to be something different for you. It's going to be a great for your career, and he just never quite bought into it. And I think he was insulted that he was playing a porn mogul.
Well, that's Burt's problem.
I know that it was Bert's problem, but it was also, I think, um, you know, the
I mean,
director's
Burt only got an
problem in
Oscar
terms of the
nomination out of it.
waves that it caused, a
Yeah, he
bit.
couldn't help it that he was up against Robin Williams as another goddamn Doctor Who cries.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah,
win
Patch
when you're
Adams,
up against
yeah,
that.
yeah, the guy with the funny nose and the crying, yeah, yeah, and that was a pretty damn good performance too. But I agree. I think Bert should have won. I
Of
do think he
course.
should have
Yeah.
Hmm.
won. And the cast of that movie, incredible. All gone on to have unimaginably successful careers. I mean, all the major players. Um,
Yeah.
even Marky Mark has gone on to have a huge
My
career
God,
in
yes.
films, and
Thomas
nobody
Jane.
thought that was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
At the beginning of it, because I remember the Funky Boys, the Funky Bunch. It's just like,
Yeah.
And
and
kids,
and
if you think we're lying, look it up. Just
yeah,
research
Marky
Marky
Mark
Mark.
in the Funky Bunch. Also, his brother,
Funky Bunch.
who has been on Blue Bloods for years and is a fine actor in his own right, was a member of New Kids on the Block. So, I mean, they both came from this kind of goofy pop music stuff.
I stayed in the hotel they tried to set on fire.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mark is sort of got himself a reputation as a straight arrow now, but I don't fully believe it. I don't fully believe it. I think
I hope not too much.
yeah.
But I enjoy his performances a
Oh yeah,
lot.
absolutely. He's great in action movies, and he's great with comedy timing. He's worked with some really good comedians, and he's good. I,
You
I
know,
agree.
he
Surprisingly,
and you ever see The Prestige?
yes,
Where it's a great movie. I think it's Christopher Nolan's best movie.
it's
Uh,
fantastic. I
and
think I have it on DVD. I don't have a lot of movies on
and
DVD.
you know how Christian Bale is actually two brothers,
Yes,
and they just trade off. I think that's what he's got going on with Matt Damon.
yeah,
Sometimes I just don't know the difference.
yeah.
They can just fill in for one another. When I think like Marky Mark did half the scenes in The Martian, and we never knew.
It's right because you never saw his face. Hey, Mark, you're going to do all the stuff out on the terrain.
And then there's a guy who looks like who's the other guy in that I said who's the actual star of that Matt Damon. There's a guy who looks like Matt Damon who starred in Callister on Black Mirror.
Oh no, I've not seen that. I'm not sure.
There's
Jesse
that
Plemons.
actor.
Yeah.
You know, okay, who is it?
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
a kind of a
Red hair, but looks a lot like him. Yeah.
it looks like Matt Damon's taken a couple of years off and enjoyed a few too many bags of Cheetos,
Yeah.
and there you go. He's
And
also really
Jesse,
good in
he's
the movie Vice.
yeah, he's good in almost everything he does. And for a while, he was playing nothing but a string of psychos, and he's really
Really,
good at it. Really good at it. It's chilling. But
in
for me, he's a combination of Matt Damon and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
yes, and
Yeah.
now in Vice he's the guy that Dick Cheney shoots.
Right. Right.
Did you ever see Vice?
Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
great. It's a great
God
performance.
damn it, that's a good movie.
Fantastic performance
Yeah.
all the way around. But I think that's the last time that Christian Bale was going to like put on a lot of weight, and he didn't put on all that weight. I mean, I think they put him in a fat suit as well, but
Like yeah,
he
the
did put on
makeup in that.
he did put on a bit of weight for that role, and I think he said it. That was the last time I'm going to do it. It's too much. I'm a middle aged guy now. I can't do
I
this.
mean, that was makeup so elaborate. It really made me wonder why they didn't just get a middle-aged actor.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I
but
mean,
but
but
he covered the
he
age
was
range.
and is middle aged.
That's how they age now.
Yeah,
But I think the nice thing about Bale in that is that he was able to cover a wide age range without it ever going to uncanny valley.
yeah, it's true. And he was spookily dead on in terms of the behavior, the speech patterns, the thought patterns, all of that stuff that you know about the Darth Vader of American politics. So,
Here's a weird thing about Vice, the movie. Because I can talk about the subject of Vice to no end. Um, uh, People who had a bad opinion of Dick Cheney came out of it, I think, having a little better opinion about Dick
well,
Cheney,
when
and
you,
people who had a negative opinion and people who had a good opinion about him came out.
yeah,
I came out feeling a little better about him as a person.
considering what he was, yeah, considering who he was manipulating needed to be manipulated in some ways, but in some other ways it was bad news. I mean, there was some evil shit going on.
It was.
But when you're talking about W,
Yes.
who was a effing moron, in my estimation, at least in terms of political policy, all of that
Did
sort of thing.
Did you see the Oliver Stone movie, W?
Yeah, another
I
good performance.
I thought that was a really good. That's a lost film.
Yeah, I know it disappeared almost immediately.
It did its
Uh,
job.
it did.
It did its job. Released
Yeah,
before the election.
yeah,
It did its job.
yeah. It's a good. Josh Brolin is great in that movie as well. He's
Isn't it funny what we used to consider to be unacceptable, and the W's antics, which are like nothing.
nothing in comparison. Yeah,
I mean, so what? So he wanted to see how my pet goat ended. Me too.
right.
Oh, and for those watching, W available on Tubi.
There you go.
As is Happen Leonard.
Yes,
Just showed
Happen
up on
Leonard.
Tubi.
Yeah.
And so I think it's safe to say, well, first a technical note. If you notice a sudden shift in perspective, it's because I remembered to turn on the gallery view. So for those of you who are
Oh, all
confused
right.
about that, so you know where we're all at. And we thank you for, I don't know if we agreed on a formal topic. So
No,
look,
we're just
you're not here for a
ripping.
formal topic. You're just
Yeah.
here to watch
This is
us, you
this
know.
is those Collinsport boys
All
riff
right.
volume one.
Spoiler for those who may be following Jules like Dark Shadows, early Dark Shadows videos. Roger never finds his pen. Just letting you know.
He's also the biggest red herring since Agatha Christie. Shh.
He doesn't help his own case.
No, he doesn't.
Imagine being Roger Collins' attorney. It's like, Roger, don't speak. Just
Yeah.
answer yes or no questions. We're just
Old
asking yes
man
or no.
Garner
Roger,
having a heart attack every time he has to be like, subpoenaed.
and Roger should learn some like anger management to stop crushing brandy snifters.
Yeah, it's got to be hell on the hand. I mean, it's just not good.
I think he's wearing that thing Leonard Nimoy has on his hand in
Uh,
in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That archery glove.
yes, something.
I wonder if that's where Memorex got the commercial idea.
Oh, for the
You know, where they'd
breaking
have
goblet.
the woman singing and
Oh yeah, the Roger Collins.
That's right.
Just his
Is it live
repression.
or is it Memorex?
His repression was enough to shatter glass.
It's true. It certainly shattered a lot of people's confidence. Um,
God, what was it I was thinking about with Roger Collins the other day, and something that he would have been good in? I can't remember, but it was. Oh shit, it's gone. Who cares? Back to the show.
Could have been a character in Upstairs, Downstairs.
It was something. It was something. Louis Edmonds would have been good in it. Well, he would have been a great. I just watched. Was it Reese Darby? Is that the guy in on Strange New Worlds? He's
Uh-huh.
playing Trelane.
Yes.
Trelane shows up early on the Enterprise, and once again, his parents come by. Spoiler alert: his parents come by and pick him up at the end.
Yeah.
So, if you've seen Squire Gothos, it's not a spoiler; it's just
It's
inevitability.
it's
And
parallel stories. Yeah.
and it was a pretty good episode. Reese Darby's great in it; he's really good,
Mhm.
and it's clear that Trelane is a Q, which we've often suspected, and the late Peter David, bless his soul,
Yep.
wrote a good book about. Um, but the funniest line in it is where somebody like gives Scotty a drink, and he says, really, I don't touch the stuff.
Right.
I thought it was terrific.
Yeah, I don't touch that stuff.
Oh, they've also started making fun of Anson Mount's hair on the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his girlfriend invites him to join her on her starship. She's getting a new ship, and she says, I'd invite you to my quarters. So I don't know where we'd store your hair care products. Which I like that level of self awareness
Sure.
that it has, because it's not winking at the audience; it's the characters winking at each
Yeah,
other.
at each other. They're noticing each
Mhm.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah, in that way.
and Ethan Peck, somewhere the ghost of Leonard Nimoy is in the fondest way going, you son of a bitch,
Yeah.
because Ethan Peck gets to have so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder if he ever got like tips on acting from his grandfather.
Well, yeah, I think he probably did. Here's a weird McRae connection story. The only other thing I'd seen Ethan Peck in is a movie called Tennessee
Hmm.
with Mariah Carey. It's a it's a drama, but she's in a dramatic part. Directed by the father of one of my better students, a young woman named Tallulah. And the father's name was Russell. I can't remember the last name. Damn it. Sorry, Russell. Schomburg, Russell Schomburg, and so because she was in my cinema class, we looked at Tennessee, and there's Ethan Peck, and this thing was made like 15 years ago, and
Mhm.
he looks the same. And so I trolled him about it on via text messages during class, which is how I spend my time. And well, it was an important. It was like, what was it like to direct Ethan Peck? I think it's a decent question. And although Russell may have just written it anyway, he just said good genes.
Hmm.
He's a good. He's got the good genes. There's a if you read Brent Spiner's book, fanfic or fan fiction. It's called fanfic or fan fiction. It's a very funny book. It's a detective story that takes place during the making of Next Generation. That begins with Brent Spiner being sent a severed pig's penis, and it goes on from there. But it's done tongue in cheek.
I'm sure.
I think that's the tongue in the cheek.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Or that might be
there's a
the
very
penis.
funny scene involving Brent Spiner and Gregory Peck in a urinal after an earthquake. It's like an improv scene setup and go.
And
You know,
go. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it
But
kind of
it's
reminds me
true.
of an old Bloom County strip from the '80s, where it was during the first Bush Dukakis presidential race,
Uh-huh.
and Opus is approaching the voting booth, and he's going whimper shrimp, whimper shrimp, whimper shrimp, and he gets to the voting booth, and he's looking in, and he asks Gregory Peck, which is, it's Bloom County, still funny. I'll fight you
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
But you won't find any opposition on my part.
No.
What happened to Burt Breathitt? Why did he
He,
stop?
I think he burned out. I know he does like. I think he does do. He restarted Bloom County a while ago because he stopped Bloom County, then did Outland, which was a Sunday only strip.
Yeah.
Then he took some time off, and then I know he does Bloom County because you can follow him on Instagram for.
Oh.
He did one where Opus is taken away by ice,
Oh. Wow.
and it's like
I've
ice
learned
is
about
like,
that.
oh, did you. It is funny. It's as much as it sounds harsh, it is funny.
Yeah.
So Burke
Yeah.
Breathitt, Instagram, do it.
You know,
So what's the dead cat?
Oh, you mean Bill?
Bill the cat.
Bill. Yeah. Would he be? He'd probably end up being like an ICE agent or something, right? Just out of sheer bizarreness.
That would make sense. I think about the two like massive landmark cartoonists of the '80s, and really only the '80s. I think I don't know.
Mhm.
Gary Larson and Burt Breathitt each took basically the work of another prior cartoonist and kind of aped it. But one, I think, maybe improved on it a little bit.
Talking about
Apologies.
Doonesbury.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Because he was kind of
There's
running out
certain
of.
places that Doonesbury should have gone that they went.
Yes, but now Gary Larson, who I think is overrated, took B. Kleben. With who's famous for the cats, but he did a
Yes,
whole lot of other
he
stuff
did a lot of other stuff. All of the
and
cats
didn't
are
do it
amazing.
nearly as well. Or
Yeah,
or no, yeah, Larson didn't do it nearly as well as Kleben.
as Cleveland.
Kleben stuff is he still is my favorite
Hmm.
cartoon one panel cartoonist.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
He
I
is
also
my
like. I mean, it's not hard hitting, and it's more personal and emotional in a lot of ways, and it's funny. Is Calvin and Hobbes, which I think
oh Calvin and Hobbes.
he wisely decided I'm gonna stop. This is good enough. I'm not going to rehash all the stuff that I've already done, and he just stopped completely. And he refuses to allow anybody to pick it up,
Good.
license it, or anything else. He doesn't
We
want it
have
messed with.
plenty of it. We have
Yep,
all the Calvin and Hobbes you
yep,
need.
yep.
There's plenty of it. He's not going to go the way of Charles Schultz.
No,
Um, and I still use the phrase Calvin Ball
yes, Calvin Ball.
to
Yeah.
this day about it.
Or
It's
the
a whole rhetorical.
Calvinoscope, or one of the other
Yeah,
bizarre
it's a whole
inventions.
rhetorical technique. My
Yeah,
my favorite Kleben. I'm going to say a naughty word here, so just brace yourselves.
I've said a few
My
already.
favorite Kleben that I really got out when this movie theater I grew at closed, and it felt too early and just really cruel to everyone. And it sums up a certain feeling that we all have at times. And it shows a movie theater with a giant marquee, and the marquee is actually words. It's 3 words, so it's not just a title on the marquee. The whole marquee is this. The I don't know if I should say the what's on the marquee first or what the caption is. On the marquee, it says "Go fuck yourself," and people are just lined up around the block.
Right, ready to go.
On the caption for the comic, the title of that comic was "The Only Show in Town."
Right. It's that's
And there are times
that's
we've
that's
all lined up.
that's it. Let's flip them. Yeah, got an edge to it. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. That kind of stuff is really good, as opposed to like Dilbert, which
Oh God.
plus he's a freaking fascist anyway.
Yeah, he turned out to be this right wing nut. And
But
and
Dilbert basically had, after a while, it was the same sort of boring scenarios in an office.
I'm lighting some coal. And he really was my hero for a while, Scott Adams,
Mhm.
because in his Playboy interview, he spoke out against team building exercises as
Yeah.
being just a massive waste of time.
Yes.
That I was happy with, and then
Okay.
he betrays me.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to be a member of your team. That's for damn sure. No, I'm in agreement about that. Team building stuff is the stuff of administrative vice presidents and that kind of stuff. In charge of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, it's basically the we don't know how to actually motivate people intrinsically, so let's throw them into a game to get them to get along.
Mm-hmm.
Especially where it's all designed to like force your nose into the armpit and crotches of other people and like
Some
stuff
of it
you
is,
just don't
yeah,
want
some
to
of
do.
it's,
Like
Yeah, like right now, the big thing in business is the new 996 trend, which is for productivity because it happens in other countries. You're encouraged to start at work at 9, finish at 9, and you do this 6 days a week.
yeah, right.
And it's starting to infiltrate like tech culture, and
it's actually a
Wait a
lot
minute.
that's done, in other countries, except
Wait a
in
minute.
factories where people are working as slaves.
right.
You're talking about 6 days a week
Yeah.
for 12 hours a day?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the old factory method before we had unions.
Who would come up with this is the what manager would want to work that
It
way?
doesn't matter.
Tech bros.
The tech
Because the idea,
billionaires.
yeah, because when you're
Scumbags.
looking as someone who's worked with marketing agencies, and worked
Trying to make it palatable.
in some of the tech field, there is a very heavy emphasis on things like you go the extra mile. Everybody digs in,
Yeah.
and it's that and hustle culture. The attitude is if you're not if you're not hustling and you're not productive, you're not really doing anything. You're always trying to get further, further, further. See
Define
the problem.
hustling in this case.
The problem, Patrick, is that you're normal. You know that there's a reason for balance. Most of us, every us in this room, look at it like that is goofy. I've had people turn me down because it's like, okay, you say this job's 40, but I'm not working 60, 70 hours
Right.
for you. Like, you know, I have a mom to take care of.
Um, it's ridiculous. And I mean, I work in theater, so yeah, you sometimes you work extra hours, but other times you don't. You get it on the back end. You
Hmm.
take it. I'm on salary, so I take the hours I need to rest. And then sometimes you work long hours for a few days, and
Hmm.
so on, back and forth. Production week, of course, is almost always like that. But um, no way in hell am I going to be enforced to work 60, 70 hours a
Hmm.
week. I've done it. I hate it. And
Hmm.
it's bad
Yeah.
for your
Me too.
health, bad for your mental health, it's bad for your physical health. And it's just, the only person that benefits is somebody that's not paying you enough to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that goes with people who try to tell coworkers whose lives and jobs they don't really know that well, but they make a lot of assumptions about what is
mm-hmm,
fair and not fair.
right.
And I am never going to, unless I work cheek by jowl with them, I have no idea what a coworker's job really is like. I don't know how many hours of grading they're doing at home, what sort of, prep they're doing at home, what sort of PD they're doing at home, what their classroom life is like. But I would never presume to,
Mm-hmm,
if they got some benefit somewhere to say, oh,
right,
that's not fair. It's like, I don't know, maybe it is. That's their
right.
business. That's between them and my boss. I trust my boss. So
Correct. That's why I didn't like, I didn't really care for working in elementary education. I wasn't really trained for it anyway. So I worked in it for a couple of years as a drama instructor. And
it's oh it's tough.
everybody's in everybody's business.
Hmm.
On the ele-
Sometimes.
well,
Sometimes.
administrators, particularly administrators, they're
Yeah.
in business. And I didn't like that at all. I like the students. Always have good things to say about 98% of the students.
That's the great thing when that remains the best part of your job in education is when no matter what you can say, but I like the students.
Yeah,
I like working with them. And that's because that's why you're there.
that's correct. That's correct. But I went back to college in terms of teaching, and I I I get more out of that because I get back a bunch,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you do too. Teaching on the private high school level is you get back from those certain students that are kind of with it.
You do. You do. I'm real proud. I got one of them who was in Dial of Destiny, and he's in this live Stranger Things play in
Cool,
London. And
awesome.
I believe he's in the documentary about it that's on Netflix.
Yeah,
And his name's Chase Brown, and he's a hell of a guy, good actor,
cool.
Hmm.
and a good AD for me on Night Mother. Yeah, he was great. He was great. I love Chase. And one of them got an Emmy for writing for The Daily Show, Owen Parsons. So I'm very proud of him too. So
Hmm.
yeah, there's some good ones.
Hmm. And for those who are watching, don't worry. Pretty soon, I will be doing my reenactment of the Burgess Meredith dance sequence from Such Good Friends.
From such good
Gordon
friends.
Gordon is brilliant. He moves well, as they
He
say on the
does.
resumes.
Speaking of which, you can find this out if you I think may ask the Discord folks very nicely. A Mitch Ryan scene of note has appeared.
Oh,
You see a lot of Mitch. That's all I'll
Mhm.
say.
Okay.
You see a lot of Mitch. It's no he's no Burgess Meredith, but you know who he
No,
is.
Hmm.
there's no Milton Berle, but
Well,
Well,
speaking of Dark
it always
Shadows,
comes back to that.
speaking of Dark Shadows, I am proud to say that last week I did submit an essay to the to Our Shadowed Past, Volume 4. So, I'm waiting to hear whether it's approved or not.
cool.
I needed to do that. Bob made noises that a photograph I took of the inside of Seaview Terrace was going to be in that, and I
Yeah, the
don't.
staircase picture. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope it is. I saw him at the show, and I, I, I did not approach him about it, but he had mentioned it at the Laura Parker event last year.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
Well,
that's
my
good
my
because
the one that I turned in, as you know, it talks about our encounter back at the last year's
yeah,
event. So, and I sent along like three pictures. One of us with the both of us with I'm trying to think. I think I have one with I have one of you at your table with Catherine in the background.
hmm
I think I have one of me with Jim Storm, and then one of the both of us with Jim Storm. I think.
yeah,
So I
Yeah,
sent.
yeah,
You can use what he wants, but
with my essay, I included a photo of because I was at the 1995 celebration,
mhm.
and so I had a group photo from that, and then I just threw in a modern photo of me. So
Cool. Yeah.
that 1995 was that after we met or before?
I think it was after because I seem to remember thinking at the time, "Gee, I wish Patrick were here."
Oh, thank you. Okay.
And I don't, and to be fair, you never said like, "Hey, I'm going" or "I'm thinking of going," and I never said,
Oh,
"Hey,
it
are you
never.
going to be
I
there?"
didn't have the money. It didn't occur to me. I had fled California. I was in graduate school. If it was summer of '95, I was working 7 days a week, three different jobs just to try and get 40 hours. I ended up getting a few more, but no two jobs would give me 40.
Yeah.
And it was just a bloody nightmare. So, boy, I'll tell you what. You did this 6-6 whatever it was 666 schedule or 996 or whatever.
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I did something that was fairly close to that, and it was just awful.
It is. It really
Um,
it really ruins your outlook. That's what it does first, and then it ruins your health after a while.
yeah,
I mean, I have two
and
jobs. I don't work that many hours. I
oh
just
yeah,
I figured out, this is what I can do, and that's what I do.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, right now I have two freelance gigs. Um, I'm processing a third. It's just a matter of getting the contract and everything settled out, and possibly a fourth. And I've kind of put a limit to the number of hours I can
Oh
work,
yeah, sure.
simply because I know, again, I know so many people who are into this. It's kind of masters of the universe thinking. It's like rise and grind. Do you want to make friends or do you want to make money? Well, dumbass, you can do both.
Yeah, you can.
And I'm talking to people who are dumbasses who believe that
yeah.
money is everything. Nobody here's a dumbass, and viewer, you are not a dumbass.
Right. We're talking in terms of the symbolic
The
dumb,
royal dumbass.
right?
The
Like you once in a while you get somebody online that brags about working 80 hours a week and doesn't realize that they've been had,
Hmm.
that they're going to do that until they ruin themselves because they think it's manly or whatever, studly
I
or
thank goodness I don't go to these online sources. I don't know about them. I This is all
Facebooking, baby,
news.
Facebooking.
Yeah, this is
It's
all
all about.
news to me.
Yeah. But I mean, it takes all kinds, obviously, on a
Yeah.
platform like that, and you get all kinds. That's why I still do Facebook, is because you do get all kinds, and you get a lot of good kinds. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. The rise and grind people, I usually just block. It's
hmm
like I don't need that in my Facebook.
tiresome.
You
Yeah.
know, I I come to Facebook for the shrimp Jesus and the fake AI.
And the cats and the squirrels and all of that good stuff too.
and the
And
and the
the
and the models who want to be my friend even though I don't know them at all.
I love them. Oh, I'm friends with
Oh
tons of
yeah,
them.
right.
Um,
Sophia from Moldova.
I'm partial to Nicole myself.
Uh,
Um, the speaking of Facebook, I don't know. We should discuss. I think we kind of touched on it. The AI trend in Dark Shadows.
yes.
Uh,
Some of it is okay, and I
some of
think,
it is okay.
and that's the kind of stuff I would encourage people to enjoy it. That's fine, and some of it is creepy, spooky, weird. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that has to do with the fact that somebody's unfamiliar with it and how to manipulate it, or whether that's just the aesthetic they're looking for. And in some cases, I think it's one or the other. I think there are examples of one or the other. It's off-putting to me to see, and this is just my taste. I'm not saying people shouldn't do whatever they're doing.
Exactly.
Just my taste is it's off-putting to see somebody take a picture of Jonathan Frid and idealize him out of recognition, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think there is one uh interesting excuse for that, or one conceit that can be done with that is sort of interesting, and it takes a page from the end of Walk Hard,
Okay.
where if AI is used and other Photoshopian tools are used to show us what these characters look like in real life,
Right. Yeah, I
that
see
you
what you're
imagine
saying.
that these characters actually existed
Right.
and that we saw them portrayed by actors,
Yes.
but this is what they look like in real life.
Right.
That to me is kind of an interesting exercise.
Yeah.
I did that exercise a few times, but I didn't disseminate it anywhere.
Right.
I just I think once I put Barnabas through a bunch of filters to see, and I think I did a sort of a partial facial merge with a Jonathan Frid back in one of his Navy pictures to see what he would have looked like at 25,
Right. Sure.
since he's allegedly 20, which I never
Yeah,
believe. I think
allegedly.
it's it.
He's a very
Well, I
worn.
mean, it's like Rick Deckard being a replicant.
Yeah.
It ruins the story,
Yeah.
and Barnabas being 25 ruins the story. I mean, him being this desperate 44-year-old man,
Is makes sense
that explains
a lot.
everything.
Well, I have my own theory about Barnabas being 45, and I'll chime in on the whole AI thing. And I actually wrote about this in my paper for DePaul. And that is, I think, one of the side effects of time travel, if you are a member in the Dark Shadows universe, is that psychologically you start seeing people in the past as analogs to people you see in the present. So like in episode 205, they're going through the pictures and David points to James, to a portrait in the foyer and tells Willie, that's my great grandfather, who would probably be Jameson. You know, um,
Yes.
great Jameson, and
At least on one side. Yeah, that would be
right.
James.
No,
But
Jameson was his grandfather.
Was
okay,
it?
Edward was his great grandfather.
okay,
Oh, that's it.
but that even proves my
That's it.
point. You
Yeah.
look at that portrait; it does not look like Louis Edmonds.
No.
However,
Sure.
okay, but and even in the 1795, it calls out because Victoria's saying, "Oh, you look like Matthew Morgan, you look like Roger," and so you know whether Barnabas is really 45 or not, I think it's more of a like a fan thing, and I'm okay with him being 45 in 1795 because it makes
Sure.
sense. But I think it's a great shortcut for how that way you're not worried about who is this new person. It's like, oh, you
Right.
look like Roger.
Hmm.
I mean, from a production side, it
Right.
makes sense, and I think from a
Yeah.
storytelling side,
Sure.
because there's backing up Patrick's theories, and Patrick's even cited in my paper, Celebration of Time Travel, DePaul Pop Culture uh, Conference. It's on Amazon. Buy it, read it. I'll even sign it if you see me.
Cool. Cool.
And there are references to it in Dark Shadows Day Book Unbound.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I refer to intergenerational trauma, and I name you as the thinker behind it.
Hmm.
Yeah, there are other ways to deal with that. One is that just the pictures were mislabeled.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
he wasn't
Somebody
he wasn't
thought that's
around
who it
then.
was, right?
That's who they thought it was. For
Yeah.
me, the age thing, which I think comes from parallel time and a reference in parallel time as to how old Barnabas was at some point, which, well, shit, that's parallel time, Barnabas. I mean, that's totally different.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's thing
Yes.
number one. Thing number two, that Joshua was a cheap bastard and Stonemason screwed up. And he thought, how many people are going to see this? I don't care. Just
Cover it.
Stonemason's gone back to Scotland. I don't want to hire another one. I got suffering to do. Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Elvis's middle name is misspelled on his tomb,
Yes.
or Jesse
I think
Garen's
it's only
name is
got one
misspelled,
A
something
instead
like
of
that.
two or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's two A's instead of one. It was something
One.
like
Yeah. I
that.
can't remember. Yeah. But yeah, because it's Aaron. His middle name is Aaron.
Yeah.
But
Hang
yeah,
on, I'm getting a call.
yeah, it's interesting that intergenerational thing, and yeah, all bets are off. You can have inconsistencies between time bands,
Hmm.
definitely. You can,
Yeah.
especially parallel time bands and regular time
Well,
bands in
well, I
particular.
argued in my paper that 1970 and 1841 are two separate time bands.
Oh, I think that's very
They can,
possible.
absolutely. There's no reason why they can't.
Hmm. But
There's
but
Let's
no
see.
I want to
no
get
proof.
I kind of want to talk about using generative AI for Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
will say that I do have a very unique perspective as to why.
Right.
And it's personal. I am kind of opposed to using generative AI for creating content, whether it's visual, written, etc. Simply because as a writer, and I know graphic designers who are affected by this and artists who are affected by this, a lot of times the feedback we get is, well, you should be using AI to generate content because it makes it easier and you avoid low intelligence work. But what you get is that generative AI is not creative, it's imitative.
Hmm.
Um, Now, I know, Patrick, I saw the Penny Dreadful interview, and I know you spoke of it in terms of you write the scripts, but you use AI to figure out
Yeah, it's design
visual.
support. And I mean, if you want to find a graphic designer who is as fast and potentially as good and as cheap, I'll use them. But I don't know. Okay, so Gordon, let me just put this to you because I know you've thought about it, and I say this open-endedly. What do I do if I have a great Dark Shadow script and I have the free tools at my disposal to create a pea soup drenched looking episode of the show that would be marvelous and would reach a lot of people and be a very good expression of Dark Shadows? Should I not?
Here's a couple of things I would keep in mind. One might be since you're doing something that's essentially a fan fiction,
It's
whether you
fanfic,
believe it or
total
not.
fanfic, yes.
One option to go would be to, if you know someone who's a graphic designer or an animator who can use tools like Blender to render things in 3D. And because most people do fan fiction out of love, um, they don't do
Profit.
it out of money because you can't.
Yeah.
Just ask Alec Peters. That's one way to go. Another way would be to consider turning them into audio scripts, and then you could just do, use, you know, have someone create unique portraits of Barnabas, Angelique, unique characters, etc. Because Penny referred to an individual, an older Doctor Who fan who does fan creations. He's a gentleman by the name of Ian Levine. And Ian, he is a longtime fan. Like, he's one of the original, watched it on set, watched it when William Hartnell was the first Doctor.
Right.
Um,
Ran home from the Blitz to
right.
see it.
From the,
Um, he has also been a lightning rod of controversy. In the 80s, he was hired to be a consultant to Doctor Who on continuity. It would be like analogous to say, Patrick, if you were hired in 91 to help Dan Curtis on the reboot. The only difference is that I would not call you an entitled fan with delusions of grandeur. You're a Ford fan. Ian Levine got to the point where he was consulted on which episodes we should consult, but he started thinking he had creative control. He was also
it's a very different thing.
right. He was also involved in some controversies around missing episodes because, as people were finding, he would have cans of missing episodes, and what he would do is he'd hold some back that the BBC wanted in order that he could make money from private collectors. And I say all this because there's a little bit on the shady side, but a lot of his reconstructions, one, they're god awful. They are awful. They are not authorized at all. And he's been doing things like, oh, hey, I reconstructed Shada. You should buy this. And the BBC is like, no. And they've reconstructed some of their own episodes. Some of the things he's done are basically just like literally ideas for scripts. It was like, there's a remit in the 80s for a writer before he died to do a script involving, I think it was like the Master in Singapore with the Autons. And he didn't even do like an outline. He just said, here's the title, here's some story ideas, and he did that. And they look bad, and they really feel amateurish. And I think he's done some episode constructions with AI, and they look god awful. I mean, it's literally like, it's not even an Uncanny Valley issue of like Uncanny Valley or not understanding the technology. It's like faces look off when people's mouths open instead of just being like up and down. It's like,
Yeah.
He should have done it like Clutch Cargo.
that would be too expensive for him.
It sounds like this guy also is a terrible story plotter, and he's more of an archivist. He's not a creative, which is fine. Being an archivist is valuable,
right?
But he got it in his head that he.
And the reason I bring that up is that a lot of times people use AI. I don't think they're going to think, oh, well, I can just write a script and use AI to create the visuals, which is what I think you're talking about, which is what I think you're referring to, Patrick. I think
visuals, the music. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that ultimately what's probably going to happen with AI is that people will go, here's my Dark Shadow stuff, and just throw slop on.
Just generate it. Yeah,
And, I'm someone who, I had my first piece of fan fiction that was ever published was in the world of Dark Shadows. I reread it recently, and it's an okay story. I'd probably do it differently if I wrote it now, but I have the experience. But at least, to me, there's something about fan fiction being, I don't think it needs to be or look professional because it comes from spirit. So I think people creating new Dark Shadows, whether maybe it's fan fiction on a website, maybe it's an audio series that's much better than Big Finish ever did. Maybe it's animated with, South Park style cutouts. I think that encouraging fan creation is good, but I think the problem is with AI, you'd get people who are doing it not to necessarily celebrate the show or celebrate the characters. They're doing it to either earn a quick buck or to earn clicks. And so that's kind of what.
Sure.
So I think you and I are on the same page.
May I?
I'm about to say, I think you and I are.
Surgeon's Law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sturgeon's law is going to go crazy. Now, I will proffer an insight in the form of an image. And the image is around, God, I don't know, 13, 14, 1500s, something like that. When Gutenberg invented the printing press.
Mm-hmm.
I like to joke with students sometimes and say when he invented the Bible, but when he invented the printing press. And monks sitting around saying, they're going to be people who can just now print whatever crap they want, and it's going to be out there, and all the letters are going to look neat. And yeah, that's true, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Harold Robbins, uh, but Stephanie Myers, ladies and gentlemen. But uh, that's just endemic to. I know I sound like a pinko here, but people having the means of production,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a matter of giving people the means of production. I think it may only be a few people who are aware of it, like Star Trek: The Continuing Mission, which I think is quite good. Uh, um, Partly because we didn't film it. We stayed within what we could do well. But it may only be a few people who know it, but the cream will rise to the top in terms of people recognizing that. And I know you're not asking for a unilateral ban or something like that. It's more of a, I get the idea of personal preference,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe where you consider a moral line to be, artistically.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I completely get that. I just remain too kid on Christmas morning about this stuff. When I see the stuff Google has been doing lately, in terms of AI filmmaking, and my first thought is, wow, I'd like to do Dark Shadows like that because I don't have those things, and because all the efforts to make new Dark Shadows that haven't really worked out. Um, and and there's just something magical about writing a scene and feeling that it's good and doing it at what you hope is a professional level,
Mm-hmm.
and with a couple of hours with a mouse, you're able to make it. There's a magic to that.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it would be horribly abused and neglectfully and carelessly used, but that's on the shoulders of the people who use it. I mean, anybody can buy tubas and violins with enough money. But that doesn't make them the London, Philharmonic. Uh, so yeah, I do see where you're coming from. Uh, but I am cursed with that old devil curiosity,
Mm-hmm. Well, and
and
I
I
think.
just I just want to see what's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wants Harold Robbins and his 10,000 monkey with typewriters
Mm-hmm.
chorus there.
Yeah.
would create Sam Hall.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, the other issue, and I think this would be a little bit more on the legal side, would be if you were
Oh,
to start putting in actual, I'm assuming that with new Dark Shadows, you introduce new characters. Some might take a next generation, but if you were to say to do like Dark Shadows 1972, hypothetically, somebody decides, okay, well, we're gonna stick in images from the old cast. Well, you might be able to legally, whatever the legal mechanism is for, say, Catherine, you get it. David Selby, you might get it.
parody law. Yeah.
Well, no, we're not talking parody. You might get it just as a, okay, this is a fan production. We're not making money. They might agree to it. Like I don't know the legality of it. But
Mm.
let's say they decide to go to Jonathan Frid, Jonathan Frid's estate. They might politely tell them no. Not because, I mean, if Jonathan were alive, he'd probably say yes, but they might have a different take on it. The Curtis estate might have
I
a
think it's
different take on
important
it.
that you have to honor those requests.
Right.
It is just the moral thing to do.
But I could see, for example, let's say you decided, okay, I want to do Dark Shadows, but I want to do, but and viewers, this is a suggestion for you, just free. You decide to do the actual English branch. where and you decide to do it in Victorian times. Well, maybe Quentin goes there and you could actually do it. You create a whole new cast of characters. You can even integrate a lot of Victorian era, not just horror, but you could integrate Victorian era detectives. There are other pieces of literature that's in the public domain where you can go.
Wold Newton.
Yeah,
you
you
do a
go
Wold Newton kind of thing.
and Google that, kids. You go full on Wold Newton, and that way you could create like a or you could decide, okay, a lot of hard-boiled detective fiction is coming out, especially Dashiell Hammett, because I think his
Yeah.
first three novels are public domain. You could go, okay, we're going to do Dark Shadows, the California branch, and you can just throw in the Continental Op. There you go.
Going for the California branch, we've got to go with what is it, Malibu Nights.
Well, that's thank you, Gordon. Do you remember? Do you ever see Malibu Nights?
No, I have not.
It's great.
Alan, if you have that, could you send it to Gordon?
I will see if I can find it. Yeah, I may have it somewhere.
It was a
Absolutely.
parody I did that when I was doing the watch through, and it's what if Dark Shadows had continued on, because I was Dark Shadows the Next Generation Twitter feed for a while, and I did this thing for a nighttime version of Dark Shadows Malibu Nights, and it had Jonathan Frid with great
Mustache.
hair. I think
Yeah.
it was his, yeah, and I gave him the Hall and Oates mustache,
Mhm.
and a turtleneck, because that's how I think he probably would have been decorated back
Yeah.
then.
In the 70s.
So,
Yeah.
so and
Anyway, that's
yeah,
the
and
diversion.
let's forget fan creation also includes music, fan songs.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm all for fan creative. What would be really cool is if, and this will never happen, and I doubt it'll happen, but when Doctor Who was canceled in '89, a publishing company called Virgin Books picked up the license for dirt cheap because Doctor Who, they didn't want to do any. They had most publishers had resisted doing new books with the current Doctor. Canceled, and what the editor they assigned, Peter Darville Evans, did was he did a public call. It's like, here's the submission guidelines. Here's what you want to write. Like, he commissioned like three professional and one fan writer to do the first 4 books. But it's like, if you come up with a clever proposal, crank out 60,000 words, you're published. Now, I wish there were a company like that were like, okay, you want to do Dark Shadows, which it's hard because Dark Shadows is an older franchise. But you go, okay, here, here's the Bible. Go watch it on Tubi to get a sample. 1972, here you go. And just let the fans go crazy on it.
It's a fun idea. And, I mean, from an economic point of view, the production of these books is cheap with print on demand and everything. And trust me, it's cheap. It's not easy, but it's cheap. That's, no one can hide behind, oh, we don't have the money for that. It's like, well, it depends on the deal you make. But they do have the money for that. It's almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Darren at Blue Water Comics or whatever, the Tidal Wave.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a back end deal. And trust me, I experienced the back end many times.
Mm-hmm.
My Betty White comic, I'm still waiting to get paid for.
Yeah. That's the
well.
that's the
Kids, get a contract.
The dry back end, yeah.
Yeah, get a contract, kids.
Absolutely.
There's a certain franchise, I won't say what it is. It's Sony's number one franchise. It's not one you would think of, but because of the Asian market, it's their number one franchise. And interestingly, according to Sony, it still has not gone into profit.
Interesting is right.
Which, could mean that, that could be bad. for, maybe hypothetically, just people. Yeah, so book cooking, not that I'm accusing Sony of that, is
Could
notorious
have. Yes.
in the biz. Yeah. Of course, I'm talking about James Bond.
Oh, okay.
The James Bond Amazon sale. What do you think of that? The Broccolis no longer control it.
No kidding.
Well,
Yeah, they said sold it last year to Amazon or early this
Oh,
year.
that's right. That's right. I did hear something about that, but I hadn't heard anything further
Well, there's been
about
nothing that's
it.
happened with it. Jeff Bezos is too busy spending $52 million on a wedding, which, boy, he must have really ticked her off. That's all I can think of. How much trouble did he get in that he had to spend $52 million on a wedding?
in
Oof.
Venice.
In Venice, yeah.
Trouble
I
he's
know it's a
gotten
very
in is
Carl Pilkington observation of me, but yeah.
the Malibu Nights thing is up on our messaging tree. Um,
Oh, is
yeah, it's Gordon, Jack, and
on
me.
Messenger?
Yeah, it's on Gordon, Jack, and myself. So
Oh God. If only we could like put it on as a slide in this.
Actually, let me see if I can do that.
okay,
Oh, that would be nice.
yes.
The suspense is killing me. I hope it lasts.
Now this was your creation. Am I? I'm correct. Yes.
100%.
Okay.
This is my fledgling days of it wasn't even Photoshop. I think I used
Yeah.
Pixelmate or
I
Procreate or
remember
something
it
like that.
popped up on the historical website briefly, and that's when I
Yeah, Wallace
snapped.
was very jealous. I think that's one of
Yeah,
the ways I earned Wallace's admiration was I finally
yes,
did something that he wished he had done first.
yeah. I love it. It's like is Barnabas or a
Or a
simuloid?
simuloid, yeah, whatever they are. The new
Kind of
villains, like
android. Yeah.
Okay,
fembots or
let's
something.
see if this works. Okay.
Hey, there it
There it
is.
is.
All right.
Okay, hopefully you at home can see it. If you can't, well, tough. Okay.
And I put like one of the parallel time curtains in the background, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let me let me do an ABC voiceover here. Next on ABC Daytime, Jonathan's back, but is he Barnabas or a simuloid? Dark Shadows, Malibu Nights. Spend Christmas break of 1979 in Malibu and Terror. Tune in weekdays at 4:30 Eastern and 3:30 Central.
That was great. That was spot on. Now,
Okay.
hold on. That's got to we got to bring that back because I'm going to try an Ernie Anderson on
Okay.
that.
In a world.
Okay, so here is my Ernie Anderson. Jonathan's back, but is he Barnabas or a simuloid? Dark Shadows, Malibu Nights. Spend Christmas break of 1979 in Malibu and Terror. Tune in weekdays at 4:30 Eastern and 3:30 Central. The Love Boat. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Fantasy Island. The Love Boat. That guy. Paul Thomas
That
Anderson's
guy.
father.
Yeah.
And also Goulardi.
Who
Who
was the
was
guy that did In a World?
in a
He
world.
did that.
I
Like,
don't know that guy.
yeah, he was the basso profundo of announcers, and he
Well,
did.
especially after Ernie died, he really took over.
Yeah.
Ernie. I was so glad he did the Star Trek
Yeah.
promos. I think he did all 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a shamelessness that we all bought with no irony, really.
Hmm.
Maybe because it was just fed to us and that's all we had. But I miss it. Just like I miss, we've said this before, I miss opening credits
Yeah.
to TV shows with, stills of the actors and their names underneath. And,
Yeah.
one of the problems I have with Strange New Worlds is that on at least all of the Berman Star Trek shows, I think it gave the name of the actor and the character. So I immediately knew who was doing what. But
Yes, sure.
on Strange New Worlds, after Rebecca Romaine, Anson Mount, and Jess Bush, I have no idea.
Yes. No, it's like the old Quinn Martin TV shows. Canon, starring William Conrad. Tonight's guest, Act One. And then they would
Yeah,
whoever it
Quinn
was,
Martin.
Andrew Prine, something like that.
So here's my favorite joke I've had for the past few years, and there's not even a joke to it. It's just a setup. John Colicos and Anthony Zerbe walk into a bar. That's all I got.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They just glower at one another
Hey.
knowingly for about 10 minutes straight.
Quick question.
Orders a drink.
Mm-hmm. Should I send Jewel the Malibu Nights graphic as her thumbnail?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
Sweet.
yes.
Have more fun with this.
This is what happens. This is
Right.
what happens when we don't get to talk about episode 102 and 103.
Right.
FM.
Yeah, because there's so much to episode 102 and 103. You will never know what we think. And you know who to blame? Jewel. Him. Not us. We've talked about Ambi Davis. We've made movie recommendations. We talked about AI and Dark Shadows.
This has been one of the best. We went all over the map.
We have.
Cartoonists of the 80s.
Yes. Absolutely.
Work practices, management practices, overworking of the American by themselves.
Yes.
This is a good list.
Almost unbidden. We have.
I'm gonna say.
This is entertainment value right here, people.
Right.
And we know you're watching because some of you are reaching out to me via Blue Sky, and you've made comments on YouTube because we do this for you, the people.
That's right. Nothing self-serving about it. These are not four lonely men at the end of the night trying to fill the silence.
Please watch our podcast.
And with that,
yeah, I think this might be the time to kind of wind down.
now afterwards, I do have some horrible things to share with you, but
Okay.
we'll have to wait.
We'll stick.
Okay, well, let's. I'll take us out. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe Jules' channel. Especially share this video. Tell all your friends. Leave comments if you agree, disagree. Maybe if you have recipe tips. If you want to share how to change the thermal paste on a Dell Pavilion 3420, do that because we're cool like that. Until next time, it's been those Collinsport boys telling you always tip the bartender at the Blue Whale. Thanks everyone, and see you later. Good night.
Good night.